Welcome ladies and gentlemen, chuckfinleLP Play Sonic & Knuckles Part 2. We are now in the Flying Battery Zone, the second zone in the game, and Robotniks' second Flying Fortress. The first being the Winged Fortress from Winged Fortress Zone in Sonic 2. Alright, so as you can see, we do have new enemies. These rhinos aren't, these rhinoceros robots aren't, oh, okay. Didn't know those could hurt me. Anyway, yeah, those rhinos are not too bad unless you jump right in front of the, their fire. Just spin dash them, no problem. Anyway, you can see these flamethrower turrets. Some of them have tops on them that we can use as springs to jump back up to areas that we need to go that we'll see later on in the zone. And we need the fire shield to make sure we don't get hit by them. And don't forget there's a life right there that we can use. And be careful through here because if you do fall, you will die. Of course, we are up very high in the air. And there's nothing to catch us except for the very hard ground. Anyway, and you can see these boosters that were also in Sonic 2 as well, making a return. They don't work as good as the ones in Sonic 2 did. The speed they give you is comparable to a yellow spring. But anyway, so you can see we have capsules that have rings in them, and some of them will act as springs, and some will have enemies in them. And oh, excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Anyway, so you can see the fire turrets there in a pretty bad location unless we had the fire shield. And I'll try to point those out and ways to get around them. If you do happen to lose your fire shield, you can still, you should still be able to move around without too much trouble. And that was one of them. You just, really no way to dodge that unless you can hit it in the right spot where it's aiming at the screen, kind of like here. You'll get hit by the fire unless it's aiming right at the screen, so you want to be very careful here. There, of course, spin dash right into it if you didn't have the fire shield. Alright, so these propellers, you want to make sure you're just a little bit higher than whichever direction you want to go. If you want to choose a direction, just hold that down on the control stick or the directional buttons, and then just move up a little bit higher, as I said, than you want to go to make sure you give yourself enough space, because you do fall very rapidly once you let go. And those platforms do have spikes on the bottom, so be careful. And the magnets will draw up anything metal, such as enemies, those pads, or these little spiked balls here. You want to make sure you're careful around those as well. But anyway, you know, nothing too bad. As long as you're not underneath them, they shouldn't crush you. I don't believe the balls will, or the enemies, but I do believe the platforms with the spikes on the bottom will. And if you do get caught in between those orange circles, you will get caught. So be careful about that. And you can see that's where the capsule, which acts as a spring, is. And be careful, I haven't shown them off yet, but there's mines that also make a return from, I think it was Sonic, I believe it was in Sonic 2 where the mines were. Yeah, that's right, this is the casino, and not a fire shield, or an area where we can get shields like in Sonic 3. But anyway, okay, here's these mines, and there's a mine in between these two spikes. Just kind of time it where as soon as this platform drops, just jump in between, jump on the mine, and immediately jump off of it. You shouldn't have any trouble past that. Alright, so see that hatch down there? Rockets will shoot out of it. So you want to make sure you keep moving, and of course don't be underneath the rockets right as they land. And these rockets here will help us actually, because they'll break the hull so that we can get into the inside of the ship through here. And yeah, as long as you stay out from underneath the rockets, you shouldn't have any problem with them. Alright, so this boss is interesting because Sonic cannot hurt it. It has to hurt itself with its arms. Just wait for it to start flashing and then spin dash off the top of it. You know, make sure you wait until he starts flashing before you spin dash, because the arms will chase you, and it's very easy to hit you. The arms have a very long range. Even if you stay at the edge of the screen, they still will hit you. Well, they'll hit you regardless of where you are. Alright, so there is a electric shield around one of the, I believe on the left side of the capsule. A little bit to the, kind of close to it, but just a little bit to the left of the capsule. So if you want an electric shield, you know, go ahead and play around with it. For here, you do want to push to the right for at least a little bit, but through this section you don't want to. Just don't touch anything. Let Sonic do all the running by himself, and you should be able to get every ring in that section. There's our fire shield, or electric shield, excuse me. You will need the electric shield for now until about halfway in the zone through the act, and then you'll need the fire shield. And but it's, you know, just keep it for now. It'll help you get the rings and everything that you need. I like the music for this zone, or for this act, better than Act 1, because it sounds a lot like some of the other Sega made games. Some being the Shining Force series uses this type of music in a lot of its battles and maps and everything. Alright, so this is where we're going to need the fire shield. Here you can spin dash it, and you will need to if you're Knuckles, but with Sonic, since he can use the abilities that the shields have, you can just go right through it without any trouble. And that's another area where you can get caught out if you don't have the fire shield, so you want to be careful through there. And through here, mostly just let Sonic do the running, and you shouldn't have any problem getting up higher. It's always best to stay up higher in Sonic games because you will be safer, and you'll avoid a lot of the... it's a lot faster and safer up top than it is on the bottom. Alright, so this is another area where you're going to need a fire shield if you want to keep the rings. You know, of course, if you don't, then don't worry about it. Alright, so here you can spin dash, or you can use the fire shield ability. Again, if you're Knuckles, you have to you have to spin dash, and it's actually easier to spin dash because you can kind of time it a little bit better than because you don't have to jump and then be just that little bit higher. You know, you can stay right when you need to and time it a lot better. So it's best if you do just spin dash rather than use the fire shield. Alright, so you want to be quick through this section just so you can get to where you need to go. It's usually best if you just wait for these platforms to drop, then jump onto this one rather than do that, because it's very easy to hit those spikes right to the left of it. Alright, so this thing won't hurt you, but you can't control it. Just have Sonic stand underneath it, and it will bring you to the other section. All you have to do is worry about the mice, or that mouse at the end there. That turret won't hit you unless you dive right for it, so don't worry about it. Crap. Oh great, I'm out of rings. You want to be very careful while messing around in these with these platforms, because you can very easily get crushed if you get caught right on the edge of the wall. It's very easy to get crushed, so just be careful while doing that. Alright, so this boss is interesting. It's not even really a boss, it's just a... I don't know, it's not... It doesn't have any importance. You can't destroy it like in Sonic 2. You could fight it. You can't even reach it. You can't even hit it anyway. Even if you had an electric shield, I don't think you could hit it. All you have to do is just wait for this to come in closer. Once it comes in close enough, you can it'll destroy itself, and then you can move on with the rest of the level. And this is how close it's got to be. Just stay on the far side. Most of the time, just stay on the far side, and then spin dash to the right. Shouldn't have any trouble. If you're Knuckles can climb up on walls. That's one of his better, like, not qualities, but why some people like to play as him. And you can climb up this wall and just continue on. But if you're Sonic, you want to make sure you continuously move. Sonic or Knuckles, you want to make sure you continuously move and don't get caught, because if this long platform here like hits a ceiling or something, you will get crushed and you will lose a life. So just make sure you continue on moving as fast as you can. Now either stay to the left or to the right of this, because this is where we're going to fight the boss at. And Robotnik. Oh, okay, you gotta move into the middle. Oh, there you go. Then Robotnik will come down and right kind of in the middle of this platform, and then he'll do his thing. Alright, don't touch the spikes that are latched onto the platform. Just wait for him to move around. If you do jump in the middle, the little flamethrower on the top will shoot up. Don't worry about it. If you're Knuckles, it'll shoot up anyway. 8 hits and you're done. If you can get the first 2 hits at the beginning, it'll be a lot easier. But even if you just get 1 like I did, it's still just as easy. Anyway, I thank you for watching. The challenge of the video is how many flamethrower turrets did I pass in both Acts 1 and 2. We'll watch this little miniature cutscene here. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time.